This is the Shark Navigator lift-away line of vacuums. It can get kind of confusing because there's so many different models. So right now I'm going to look at these three vacuums and highlight what's different and what's the same with each of these vacuums. Let's start with the specifications. So all of these vacuums are 120 volt, 60 hertz, 10 amps, all three of them. So I'm assuming that that means that they have the same motor, or it's at least a very similar motor. So I think as far as suction and power, they're all going to be about the same. So here's the Liftaway Deluxe, the Liftaway, and then the Professional. So they all have this little cover here in the front that you can push up on and take off. And then inside is the HEPA filter, which comes off here. And all three of these vacuums have the same kind of setup here with the same filter. As far as the brush rollers go, they're just a single brush roller. They all look the same. This is the one I use the most. It is the dirtiest. I gotta clean that. Now looking at the canisters is where I start to see a difference. Over here on the Professional, you see that canister is much larger than these two. These two almost look identical. To remove them, they've all got these switches on both sides that you're going to flip up, and then you can just lift the canister right off. They've got these buttons on the front here that you push to drop the lid on the bottom to empty out the canisters. Functionality, they all have the same on and off switch with two settings. So it's going to be off, bare floor, and the brush roller on, so that you can either toggle the brush roller on or off. So that's a good feature that they all have. The tools and attachments that they come with. So here we have the Liftaway Deluxe. This little attachment here has the kind of felt tip here, which I think is much better at grabbing hair. And then it's got the narrow path tool here. Now here we have the Navigator Liftaway. This one has the extension hose, which is much longer, probably 2 or 3 times larger than this one. And then again, with the cleaning tool here, this one is much larger, but kind of with the same felt here, really good at grabbing hair, much larger than this one. And then finally here on the Liftaway Professional, it does have a narrow path tool, which is somewhere in between the two of these. So it's not as short as that one, but it's not quite as long as that one. And then this one has this dusting brush with these bristles as opposed to kind of the felt pads. Now, as far as I can tell, you know, these could change. So Shark over the years have kind of changed the attachments that it comes with. So I can never really guarantee what they're going to come with, but that's what I'm seeing on these three right here. Now, all three of them have this little ring here on the handle, which allows you to adjust the suction, which is really great, especially when you're doing area rugs and things like that. Now, looking at the back here, they all have this release here for the wand attachment so that you can take off that piece there and then use it to clean stairs, couches, and different things like that. They all have the lift away feature, so you can take the head away from the canister, which makes it easier to carry. I like to remove that when I'm doing stairs and things like that. Just makes it easier to carry around. All of the brush heads here do have an indicator light. Now looking at them overall, very similar, subtle differences here. So on these two, it really just looks like the cleaning attachments that comes with it is the main difference. And then the Professional has the bigger canister with slightly different hose attachments as well.